What's up, folks? Welcome back to the Havoc Hour in our cinema series. Once again, I'm your host, as always, Wreak Havoc, and we are going back to the Halloween series once again in full view with our brand new format. And of course, as always, I have to go across the shot town, hit up my horror movie aficionado and a Halloween fanatic as well, the HWBIC, the Warden Matt Ritter from the number one wrestling podcast on Pornhub, the Smacking the Raw podcast. What's going on, bro?
Also now the patron saint of podcasting.
Favorite saint of podcasting. I like that. Okay,
I'm good, man.
We're gonna add that to the list. And of course, once again, now that she is all caught up on the Halloween series, we have, of course, my client, host of the Sheely Showcase, the hostess with the mostest, the shaman of Sheely, the MVP, the Rookie of the Year, the emancipated Miss Katie Kinzy, baby. And how are you?
I'm okay. Not as good as Matt with his devil horns, but I'm great.
I mean that's we found some new features. I'm convinced that there are traps somewhere in that basement.
I had to set the
he's
mood.
Definitely got them. He's got saw traps just chilling.
I still got my knife for stabbing.
Yeah. Yeah, there's traps. There's traps hidden all around that room. You cannot go in there without a map. I'm convinced of it. Oh, totally convinced of it. So
knife down.
So if you're watching this episode, we already have done the last episode where we did our reviews, which featured a brand new format. And if you watched it before, I'm just gonna go over it again really quick. We're gonna give a brief synopsis of the movies. Since today we're going to go over at least the first couple of this long, convoluted, and crazy franchise. We're going to give a brief synopsis of the movie. We're going to go over our thrills, things we liked, the kills, things we didn't like, and if we're feeling indifferent or in between and don't like it, don't love it, we're going to give it a stab. So we're going to kick things off with the classic, the iconic, the original, Halloween, from 1978. And I'm going to pass it off to my man, Mr. Matt Ritter, to give us our brief synopsis.
Everyone's seen Halloween. Basically, 6-year-old Michael Myers finds out that his sister had a 30-second sex escapade and not happy about it, goes upstairs and murders her, ends up in a mental institution for about 15 years, escapes, very handsome, badass doctor, who is also his therapist, hunts him down because he believes Michael to be pure evil. He goes home to his house, which has been abandoned because no one wanted to buy it because a girl was murdered there after a 30-second sex escapade, and it's just bad juju. And he happens to run across Laurie Strode, who is a babysitter and the focus of this movie, and then stalks her, murders all of her friends, tries to murder her, gets stabbed in the eye, gets stabbed in the shoulder, gets shot 6 times, and falls off a balcony, yet miraculously rises up and disappears.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, what are our thrills from the original? Ladies first.
Dr. Loomis in this movie, Matt, basically. His character's so good and so important to the franchise in general, and just seeing him, he's the only one who knows Michael and understands what the fuck is happening. Seeing him in this movie, it just starts off great. Fucking Laurie Strode, best babysitter in the world. She protects the hell out of those kids. She's shoving them in the rooms, telling them to lock the door. That's if I was those kids and that was my babysitter, I'd feel so protected. Nothing could hurt me. Nothing would go wrong. And she holds her own against Michael. He tries so many times to kill her, and she just gets a stab, like a slash on the arm.
Falls down a flight of stairs.
That's fine. People do that all the time.
Well, her ankle was cracked or something because she couldn't walk afterwards. So
I mean, I'm saying people fall down the stairs all the time.
It was the 70s. Those were platform fucking shoes she fell down the stairs in. She
That's not
definitely
my fault.
at the least sprained that ankle, if not severely fractured it.
Yeah.
But she's fine.
She's not fine. We'll talk about that very soon.
Oh, yeah.
She is not fine.
Yeah, that's the furthest thing from.
Stop it.
She's
Rick,
injured.
what do you got for thrills?
She's injured, she's traumatized, and she's scarred.
She's fine.
First and foremost, this is going to sound basic, but I don't give a shit. The score throughout the entire movie, all the music that they used, straight from John Carpenter himself. You know, he learned that this particular score years ago. He just incorporated it into the movie. The music is what did it, because if you watch any documentary, after the initial screenings and stuff like that, that was without the music, people hated it. It didn't do anything. And once the music was added, all of a sudden people are scared shitless. Like, they were literally covering their ears during like the crazy scenes because that was what really did it, the music. The simplicity, because I think as we come to find out later on in the years, it's like the more you do, the more it kind of takes away from it. It's just simple, no gore, all suspense. Just it's all just, you know, kind of just looking around the corner to see, you know, what's going to happen next. Because the idea is that coming out of this movie, when you saw it during that period of time, it's like this could happen in your neighborhood. This could happen right around near you, you know, and the mythos that, you know, of the boogeyman, of this figure, that this shape that existed. Yeah, that was just like what did it. You know, we didn't have that up until this movie came out. So that was always beautiful. Jamie Lee Curtis, obviously, you know, it's her first feature role. She killed it. I mean, it was almost like it was destined to be, obviously, because of, you know, her mother being Janet Leigh of Psycho. I mean, it was just like it was that perfect casting, and it set the world on fire. So I mean, there's not much not to love about this movie. It's crazy. It's like it's not even much of a long movie at all. It's about an hour and some change, but it did what it needed to do. It was as impactful as it needed to be, and you know, it's hard not to add it into the pantheon of the classic horror movie greats at this point. I mean, it's up there. It's one of the best movies, you know, in the genre, period.
With that, I mean, yeah, you guys covered a lot of it. Dr. Loomis, Laurie, basically everyone in this movie. The whole idea that this kind of sparked it wasn't the first slasher, but it kind of sparked the idea that slashers could be what they are. I mean, Friday the 13th, there's a documentary on Netflix where they talk about it, where they literally say that they're like, let's rip off what Halloween did. Like, yeah. It was great. It was cheap. Let's do that. So, the iconic character of the shape, Michael Myers, the mask in the original is the perfect mask. The Captain Kirk mask, spray painted white, just the way they shot the movie, the way everything felt, it was, I would damn near say, perfect. Dr. Loomis is fantastic. The idea that he's trying to explain to everyone what is actually happening, and everyone just like, oh, it's just some guy. Like, we can handle some guy. No, the fuck you can't. No, you can't. He is not just some guy. He has the darkest eyes, the devil's eyes. Like, the quotability of this movie, the kills, even though they're not extremely graphic, they're still get the point across. They still do what they need to do. It's something I watch every year. Every year I rewatch this movie, sometimes more than once. So I've got thrills up the ass. I have 0 kills or stabs for this movie.
I don't think I do either. Like,
Yeah.
even if I try to think of them, they wouldn't really make sense. It like there's nothing to dislike about this movie. If you're just purely going into it to watch something, to be scared, if you're going to look, you know, just to see a good horror movie, there's nothing to dislike about this at all. Because like I said, it's simplistic. There's no complicated aspect to this movie at all. It's just a purely simple, you have a killer following a bunch of babysitters throughout Halloween night in the cover of darkness, and you can't kill them for some reason. It's hard to do that. And mind you, this is after Texas Chainsaw Massacre came. This was 4 years after that. And Texas Chainsaw Massacre scared the shit out of everyone that went to go see that. So I mean, for this to become essentially like bigger than that,
oh yeah,
what are you gonna do? Katie, you got any kills?
No, I said I agree with you guys.
All right. So we're gonna move on then to part 2.
Oh, we're gonna grade it, right?
Oh,
A+ is all around.
Yes, absolutely. A+.
5 butcher knives, A+.
Without a question.
Can't touch it.
Yeah.
All right.
Definitely.
Part 2 is the continuation. It picks up the same night that all of this stuff happened. Laurie is rushed to the hospital. Sheriff Brackett finds out that his daughter was brutally murdered. He is inconsolable. They're losing their minds. Ben Tramer dies. He is hit by a car, set on fire. People are freaking out. Meanwhile, some creepy ambulance drivers trying to get in Laurie's pants in the hospital while she's got her ankle all taped up and shit's going on. Michael finds out where Laurie is, shows up at the hospital, starts killing everyone in the hospital. Doctors, nurses, maintenance men, doesn't give a fuck. Dr. Loomis, running around town, freaking out, is summoned back by the mayor, who apparently, or not the mayor, the governor, who apparently has that power, and then finds out, hey, also, by the way, 15 years you've been looking at this guy and talking to him. We didn't tell you. Laurie's a sister, so that's a thing. Oh my God, that's why he's trying to kill her, which was apparently something that John Carpenter came up with after drinking a 6-pack and snorting coke to try and make it make sense. So Dr. Loomis rushes back to the hospital to save Laurie. Laurie somehow miraculously just loses her voice after falling out of a car and can't scream for help until the door closes. I will talk about that. Michael busts through a glass door, comes in, gets shot again, falls down, murders a cop, gets lured into a room with Laurie and Dr. Loomis, is shot in both of his eyes, 1 bullet in each, and then blown the fuck up. Both Dr. Loomis and Michael Myers go down in a blaze of glory. Flaming Michael falls to the floor, and our movie ends. Oh, and also gets a little bit of a horny kill there in the therapy bath with the titties and then the drowning and turning up the heat. So that was the thing. And that is probably the one thing about this movie I remember the most.
It's the titties?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was a very nice shot. Very nice shot in the movie. So, I mean, yeah.
And a cool kill, but
a very, very cool kill.
Yeah.
But yeah. So our thrills, Miss Bebe.
I mean, that's one of the, in my opinion, one of the only good things about this movie is the kills themselves. I don't like this movie. I don't know. I mean, I do, but I don't. I don't like the face you're both making right now. I really don't.
You're entitled to your opinion.
No. I hate when you do that. Because I
You're entitled to your
am, but you're both judging me.
Well, this is what we're here for. Please elaborate.
I mean, well, I'll talk about it when I get to like.
Well, yeah. When we get to the kills,
when we get to the kills.
Yeah.
I mean, no, you know what? I'm just gonna stick with it. I love the kills in this movie, and I'll leave it at that. Go.
The thrills for you are the kills.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So for a movie that Carpenter never wanted to make ever and was literally strong-armed into it to the point of a lawsuit, this was a pretty damn good continuation of his original masterpiece. Cinematography was just right there on par with the last one. it's hard to distinguish much different, even though movie is about 3 years after the original, outside of the bad wig that Laurie was wearing, all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, I love the new spin on the music. That was really great. Donald Pleasance knocks it out of the park once again, and you start to see him go a little more unhinged as these movies go on. But this was like, the step in that direction, because you're hunting this guy down all night long. Not crazy about all the characters, but you spent the majority of the time in the hospital. They did their part there. I liked and I didn't like the role that they had Laurie playing, because it was just, it's understandable, but I'll delve into that when I get into the kills. I like that this was as close as we will ever get to original Michael until, I guess, 2018. Because I mean, this, it gets a little way off the mark from this point forward. And the ending, this was supposed to be the end of Michael, because there was never supposed to be a sequel. And as definitive an ending as it was meant to be, obviously we didn't stop there. But I thought it was pretty dope how Dr. Loomis basically kind of gave us a foreshadowing of what was coming. Because if that scene where he's in the car and she tells him that Laurie is Michael's sister, and he talks about Druid priests having fire rituals and stuff like that, and then he uses the deputy's lighter to light the hospital room on fire with the both of them, and Michael comes out literally in flames. That was dope. And of course, the kills were a lot more unique. Like, I think my favorite one is the embolism that he gives to, I think her name was Alice, the one that, Janet. She finds the doctor in the chair with a syringe in his eyeball, and then she catches one with just air straight to the temple. Dope as hell. And he gives the head nod. I love that. But I mean, outside of the original, this is one of my favorites to go over. Up until recently, it was my favorite sequel out of all the sequels that had came afterwards.
Again, kills. The scalpel in the nurse's back, and then lifting her up with a fucking scalpel, just showing how strong and badass he is. I said it before. You've got the gratuitous titty shot as he's melting a woman's face in a hot tub, repeatedly drowning her and melting her face at the same time. Fucking fantastic. Dr. Loomis is a gangster in this movie, guys. Listen, he is in a cop car. He pulls his gun out and tells the fucking what is it? The sheriff, not marshal, sheriff, it's marshal. The marshal, yeah. State marshal. Turn around. He's like, I can't do that. He goes, what is it you guys do? Fire a warning shot, and shoots out the fucking cop car window. Says, all right, turn the fuck around. Let's go. I got lives to save. I'm not fucking around with you people. Like, straight up gangster ass Dr. Loomis in this film. Absolutely love it. We didn't really talk about it in the first one, but Reek did touch on a little bit. So Halloween was supposed to be an anthology series where every story took place at Halloween. It wasn't meant to be about the shape, but the original did so well that they conned John Carpenter into doing another movie to kind of, people want to know what happened to Michael Myers. So they wanted a definitive end. And this is what this was supposed to be, was the definitive end. And then they said, you can do whatever you want after this. And we'll talk about what happens and how we get back to Michael as we move on. But this gave us a definitive end. They literally shot him in the face twice, directly in the eyeballs, and blew him the fuck up. And you saw flames just coming out of the mask and shit, just dead. Loomis was dead. Laurie was alive. I think Jimmy, the horny fucking ambulance driver, may or may not still be alive. Definitely had a concussion. Yeah. Definitely had a concussion. There's a lot for me to love about this movie. It's the direct sequel to not arguably the best movie in the franchise. It's really the first taste you get of Michael since that movie, and it's perfect continuity wise. I mean, they literally pick up Michael walking injured from the 6 shots, through houses, still killing people, still cutting throats, still doing Michael Myers things as he's on his way to go find what we found out to be his sister. And then finish the job because he killed his one sister when he was 6. Now he's got to kill the other one. We're not going to talk about ages because that's going to get stupid later on. But you saw the emotion from Sheriff Brackett when he found out that his daughter, after everything we watched him do and all the hard time he gave Dr. Loomis about Michael Myers, now his fucking daughter's dead. Now he sees the carnage that Michael is, what Dr. Loomis was talking about. Like, now you get it. You know, it's a damn good movie. It's not as good as the original, but it's a damn good movie. So those are my thrills.
All right. Now then, since this is not a movie of in much enjoyment for you, Miss Bebe, the floor is yours. Tell us why you don't like this movie.
Well, I don't like the tone in your voice. Please calm the fuck down.
I'm just giving you the platform.
I don't like it.
Go ahead.
In my defense, I have only seen the sequel once when I was watching all of the movies. So maybe I just need to watch it again and soak it in. Relax. I mean, I've only watched all of them maybe once or twice. So please bear with me. I don't like the Laurie being his sister. Like, that's the big thing. And that's a big thing for everybody, is it didn't have to be like that. They wanted it to be, and then shit gets confusing later with timelines and all of that. Okay. And you kind of touched on it, Reek. Like, that's not the Laurie we were like used to seeing. Stop. She spends the majority of the movie just in the hospital bed. So, I mean, I didn't like that, but like it makes sense as to why. It's just that, I don't know, it just irks me. And those are like the big, it's mainly the fact that he's like her sister, he's her brother. There we go. And I don't know. Like I said, maybe I just need to watch it again and try and enjoy it more. So, go ahead.
Okay. So it's not quite what I thought, because I'm in agreement with you about that first one. I don't think at all that there was ever a need to create a sibling bond between Michael and Laurie. It was just one of those things. Again, John didn't want to do this sequel. He just wrote some shit out of the dirt, and that was what he came up with. I don't like it. Majority of the people who are fans of the franchise don't like it, but it became, as we're going to see, a staple of the franchise going forward. So, I mean, it is what it is. I also agree that, you know, and then this is the thing, like, I was on the fence about. I understand it, but I don't like it either. Laurie's role in this movie, you know, after being, you know, that iconic final girl that stands up to him and, you know, gets her licks in and doesn't go down. Now she's spending the whole night, you know, in the fetal position, whatever, stuff like that. At the same time, it's like you're souped up on all these drugs and stuff like that keep sedating you, and you know, all this other stuff. At the end of the day, it's just one of those things. It didn't take away from the movie for me, but it's one of those things, like, you notice it. Like I said, I wasn't crazy about the characters. I mean, Jimmy is a little too fucking horny for me. The fact that you are on call for several murders and your thing is keep going in here to keep flirting with this girl that you know from school or whatever. Bro, do your job and stop being a little bastard. What else did I like? I don't think there was much else other than that. I mean, got a bumbling fucking security guard. Guy has one job. You know, you watch the monitors, and you know you could clearly see the news that, you know, some shit was going on. You think you'd be paying more attention. That this killer walks right past you and gets into the hospital because you were too busy reading a book or whatever. So yeah, I don't have a lot that I dislike. Those are little nitpicks from me, but like I said, it didn't take away from the movie for me. I still enjoyed it.
So allow me to address the issues that you guys talked about. First and foremost, with the second movie, you needed a reason for Michael to go after Laurie again. Yeah. For a second time. Of all of the reasons, and there aren't many that you can think of, them being related and relating it to the first kill kind of makes the most sense. Yeah, it came out of nowhere because it's the second movie and it wasn't planned, and basically it was, you know, metaphorical butt plug that John Carpenter pulled out of his ass for this. But again, it makes sense in my mind. Also, Laurie being in the state she's in, literally just had a man in a house try to murder her repeatedly, saw him shot 6 times and get the fuck up and walk away. I would be terrified in the hospital. I would be in there in the fucking fetal position, freaking the fuck out, knowing that he's still alive. Like, I don't trust the cops to get him because the cops were nowhere to be seen all tonight when this shit was going on, when he was coming after me and killed all of my friends. I have 2 friends, murdered them both and their boyfriends. Like, everyone I care about, dead. And then I'll give you Jimmy, but also I was that age. I understand. Like, I might, you know, yeah, there's serious shit going on, but he thought she was cute. Why not shoot your shot? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. The only issue I have with this movie is if Michael Myers is still on the loose and Laurie is sent to the hospital, it's not the security guard. It's the fact that there is not a fucking police presence watching her at the hospital, seeing as she was just attacked by a man who is still at large. How do you not put at least 2 police guards guarding the fucking hospital room that she is in to make sure that the person you were looking for doesn't show up and go after her again? Why are you just assuming that she got away and everything's fine and she'll be safe in a hospital? Like, no, you station police guards outside her room to make sure she is safe and okay until the perp is in custody. This is common sense police tactics. We ignored that. And you could still have Michael go in there and be a badass and kill 2 cops. Like, that's not a big deal. But that's really the only issue I have with the movie as a whole is, like, how do we miss that? Like, why is she just in the hospital with no sort of protection or guard or whatsoever? Her parents never fucking showed up to check on her. Like, she was almost murdered. Did they not contact her parents to send that? Like, nobody cared about this girl. At least Jimmy did. I mean, he cared about one part of her, but he cared. Nobody else seemed to.
I don't think they ever really clarified what happened to the parents. Like, there was some rumor that Michael killed them too, or something happened to them. Like, there's never been any clarity on where they were, what happened with them after said party that they were at with drunk ass doctor, and what happened beyond that. Like, there was never anything because they weren't at the hospital at the end after, you know, all the news came. It's crazy. Literally everyone else showed up to get all eyes on Laurie about what happened, but her parents weren't there. Like, yeah, I don't get it.
So that's a kill for me. The cops and the parents. The one stab that I have is going to be the fact that Laurie fell out of that car after trying to have an entire conversation at normal volume with Jimmy, who has concussion and passed out. And then as she's crawling towards the door and she sees people, she can't muster up the strength to get the fucking words out until the door closes. Then she's yelling at normal volume. Like, I understand the purpose of doing that movie wise, because then they just come around and get her. But I mean, and then you lose the whole her seeing Michael and running to the door thing. But logically, there was no reason for her to just magically lose her voice at that point. Nothing had happened to her. She was fine. She was just talking 2 seconds ago. It's not like she fell out on her back and knocked the air out of her. Like, she fell down on her side. She was all right.
Yeah.
So that's a stab.
And he actually reminded me of another kill I have. And I initially I thought it was going to be a stab, but it's actually a kill. We never got to see how this happened, and it bothers me how the hell this man drained all of this woman's blood out on that table. Like, that clearly would have made for, in my opinion, one of the better kills in the whole franchise, and we never got to see it. Jimmy shows up, this dark and the lighting just comes down, and she's just laying there, and you just see a tube running down her vein with all of her blood basically drained onto the floor. That was a miss right there. Like, it could have even been a deleted scene if you want to. I wanted to see it because I
also
hate that shit.
I believe it's in the movie, but I believe that it was an extended cut in like the made for or like the TV version of like Lori having her flashback to being young and seeing Michael on trial and that whole thing, and kind of remembering that Michael is related to her. Yeah. So
and then
there's like that too.
It dripped, and there's like in between, there's like the drips of blood. It's like,
yes,
how the fuck did you do that? I need answers. Like,
I didn't know that was a thing.
That was a thing.
You didn't know that was a thing?
No.
You should probably watch the movie again.
I'm gonna fucking watch it again. I'm gonna watch it again.
I'm just okay. I'm just throwing it out there. Okay, so that's all your kills. You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. For grades, what are you guys thinking?
A-.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too. I was gonna say A-.
A-. It's really in between there, and we'll talk about the other movie that it's a toss-up, but for me, this is second to third best in the franchise. It's a toss-up between this and 2018, and I've got my whole ranking. I'll give you later, but
all right, get yourselves for this one.
I give it a B+ until I watch it again. Until I watch it again.
Yeah.
Until I watch it again, I'll give it a B+.
Well, like he said, you are entitled to your opinion, so nobody's judging you. You know,
liar.
I'm not.
No judge.
This look.
We got
if we all agreed, this would not be a whole lot of fun.
Absolutely not. I can't wait to talk about H2O.
Oh yeah, I have a revelation about that. We will talk about it.
Yeah. No, I heard about that. So
now
I'm curious.
On to part 3, Season of the Witch.
So this is the first movie in the anthology that does not feature Michael Myers. He's gone. Out of here. Bye-bye. Instead, we have a doctor who decides that he's going to go out on his own to investigate a murder, may or may not be a pedophile, kind of fucks a dead woman or a dead patient's daughter in the midst of investigating a town plot where a mask factory maker is using Celtic rituals and fucking a stone from Stonehenge and masks and a triggering song and mechanism in a TV commercial to melt the brains of fucking children.
Yeah.
That's the movie.
That's
a movie.
It is. And that sounds crazy, but I mean, watch it. So you did see this one, right, Katie?
Yeah, I watched them all.
Okay. So what did
I wouldn't
you like?
be on this if I didn't fucking watch them all.
I don't know.
I have a love-hate relationship with that fucking song because it got stuck in my head like last week and I got mad. But like it is catchy and it just pisses me off. But I like that it's like the countdown to Halloween too. So like I like that. I mean, for this, if this was just like a standalone movie and didn't have like the Halloween name attached to it, it's not a super bad movie. Like it's okay. It's like an okay movie. The premise is kind of out there, but so are a lot of horror movies, so it makes sense. I like the use of the masks and trying to melt the brains of children because fuck them kids. It all makes sense. Oh no. That was loud. Ow.
We're all gonna die now.
Fuck. I mean,
Silver Shamrock.
You. I think that's it. I don't know. It's been a while since I've watched it, so that's it for now. Unless you guys say something that sparks another thing.
Okay. I actually have come around like full circle. I really like this movie. The concept, if you were going to create something different, a new story, something, Michael Myers-less, it's the mid 80s. Everyone was coming up with new ideas after the slasher craze had it kicked off. So this was something different. This had no slashers at all. This was just a very dark, different type of story, Colonel Cochran, this the toy maker with all this weird, like, quiet sinisterness to him, like that was pretty cool. The robot android people that he sent around to do his dirty work and killing people, they're those are pretty dope. I like that, especially with the kills that they had. They literally ripped the dude's head clean off of his shoulders. I mean, and the one with the guy from the very beginning of the movie, like they legit broke this guy's skull, like just grabbed him by the nose and just pulled, like that was crazy. So that was all good. And then like the reasoning that he gives for doing all this, it's like it goes back to what I said. Like the concept is so different because it going back and saying, this is what Halloween was supposed to be, and all these kids, and what America's done to this ancient day of great power. It's like you soiled it, you destroyed it, so now we have to purify it again by killing these children. Like, that's sick as hell, but it's like, it's a horror movie. It's what it's supposed to be, I like the mentions of the original Halloween. It's just to let you know, like, this is not in the same continuity at all. This is going into a whole different realm. So you see the commercials for Halloween on the TV and stuff like that, just to let you know. And then the one scene towards the end, he turns on the TV for the doctor to watch, and Halloween is on TV. Like that's some cool shit too. And they left it open-ended. So it's like, you don't know if they got these commercials off the air in time. You don't know if a bunch of nasty kids got killed. Much like the original Halloween, you're left to interpret what happens next. And that's like, that was supposed to be a staple of the anthology, which I liked, because it's kind of like, the Twilight Zone. Every story gets left to your imagination, But yeah, I mean, like I said, the more you watch it without the lens of, okay, there's no Michael Myers, the more you can enjoy it. Like, I hear the term used for it a lot, cult classic, and I understand it more now, because it's generally a good film. If you're gonna watch one, that's not with the shape in it. I can't really fault it.
Everything Reek said, but I want to touch specifically on the Celtic ritual aspect, because Reek mentioned it in Halloween 2, where Loomis brought up Celtic rituals and the purpose of Samhain and Halloween. And then we see it again here from John Carpenter. And it's very important later on in the series that we pay attention to the fact that this theme returns and is a very important dynamic in this franchise, whether this is a actual part of the movie or the franchise or not. If you look at it as a standalone or part of the franchise, this Celtic ritual aspect of Samhain, and where the power of the holiday and the evil that it is about comes from, very key, very important. So I love that that kind of stayed with this movie. It was mentioned in 2, and then it's brought up later. It's kind of a continuity throughout the entire franchise that this exists. But yeah, no, the kills were really cool. It's like you said, it's a fucking cult classic. Like if you look at it as a standalone movie and you don't look at it as a Halloween movie, because everyone thinks of Michael Myers when they think of Halloween, they think of the shape. Like it's a perfectly fine movie. It's very John Carpenter. If you look at They Live, if you look at, you know, a lot of the other movies he's done, Escape from LA, Escape from New York, like it's very John Carpenter. Very, very John Carpenter. So for all of those reasons, I enjoyed it. I fucking love the Silver Shamrock song. I fucking love it. It's great. The masks were really cool too. The skull, the pumpkin, and the witch. Those 3 kind of like iconic American Halloween symbols that they used to feed the kids the thing that was going to kill them in the end. The things that they've most commercialized about Halloween is what's going to be the downfall of the children. So yeah.
Cool. I forgot to mention too. I also love the town like being so like basically they know what's going on, but they kind of hide from it. Like as soon as the sun goes down and stuff like that, and the clock strikes, and everyone kind of just goes away, disappears, because it's like there's this eerie, you know, feeling to it. It's like, okay, we know some shit's going on at night, so we're just gonna get off the streets and stay out of sight. So that I like the 2.
It's probably the biggest employer of the town. So yeah, if you know some shit's going on there, you're gonna turn a blind eye, because otherwise you're out of a fucking job in the middle of fucking nowhere.
That is true. So have we got any kills, Miss Baby?
Pedophile doctor. I don't like it. He's definitely a pedophile. You can't fucking tell me otherwise. You cannot. I will die on this hill. Matt agrees with me. He's pedophile. Fuck that man.
I agree, though I will say I believe she was probably like 20 or 21.
I don't give a fuck.
I agree. It because it's on my list too. But just the doctor in general. The dude's a sleaze. Like
he's probably the worst. I hate him. Like he's not a good like main character, in my opinion. I'm just not a fan of him.
Well,
and the fact that it was the daughter of the lady who died, like Matt said, like that's so fun. This guy's a pedophile and he's scheming. That nah. I don't fuck with it. I hate him.
Yeah,
not a fan.
Yeah. For those who don't know, Nancy Keys, who played Annie Brackett in the original Halloween, she was playing the doctor's wife in Halloween 3. So it was a nice little homage there.
See,
little Easter egg for people who did. You didn't know that?
No. I didn't.
Well, this was years later, so she was a little bit older, but yeah, if you look real close, you'll be able to tell.
Oh yeah, and the fact he's cheating on his wife, fucking scumbag.
I do think they were separated because it kind of like that appears to be the vibe. Like he was just showing up for the kids. Like it doesn't appear that they're still together. But I could be wrong about that. But that was the vibe that it seemed to show. But like I said, the guy was just asleep. First off, you got drunk before you went into work as a doctor. I think we saw in the previous movie before that it's kind of a bad idea.
Yep.
Gets drunk before going into his practice. Then he goes after seeing the guy who showed up. Then he goes and just says, "Okay, I'm just gonna crash out and go to sleep on the couch here." And then it's like there's 3 other one of them was one of the doctors or one of them. It's like the nurses, the doctors. He's all handsy, grabby with them and shit like that. Top that all off with the fact that you have a grieving young woman because her father was just killed, and you take that opportunity to say like people do crazy shit when they're grieving. Trust me, I know, I've experienced it. But you, sir, that's not necessarily a situation for you to be taken advantage of, especially at your advanced age. you know.
I mean, we saw Will Ferrell in Wedding Crashers crashing funerals, so like, it's a thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like grief, that whole thing he says about grief being an aphrodisiac, it's a real thing. I'm telling you. But yeah, it'd be like that sometimes. But yeah, the dude just leaves totally. So I agree with you on that 100%. Did you have any other kills?
That's like the big one. Him as a whole and everything about him, I hate. I can't.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I don't think I had anything besides that, to be honest with you. I mean, there's not a whole lot of depth to any of these characters here.
Oh no, the family got the fuck on my nerves. Like that whole family that they were hanging out with annoyed the fuck out of me. That is a big kill for me. Is like, I understand the purpose of having the family there. It's like fucking Willy Wonka going to the chocolate factory, but in a sick, demented, fucked up way. But that family annoyed the fuck out of me.
Yeah, I was gonna make that a stab because I was just like, I could have done without them, to be honest. But I mean, I don't know. It's I agree with that. It's just kind of fodder for the moment. But the scene was pretty crazy. I mean, I don't understand why you had to have all the like snakes and insects coming out of like his face or whatever. But I think just melting a kid's brain and face is enough of a shock factor alone without all the extra shit involved in it. That's just me.
I don't know much about Celtic rituals, so I can't tell you what part of the Celtic ritual that involved.
I mean, I guess not. Although here's one kill, or maybe it's a stab. I don't know. So we saw that the piece on the back of the mask that had the Stonehenge in it. So in the one scene that the lady takes it off and she toys with it and it just shoots a fucking laser beam into her mouth. So that's what it does there. But when it's on the mask, it doesn't. If you're telling me that that's what it's going to do, then you should have seen a laser beam shoot out of this kid's like the front of his face or something like that. Obviously it does something different when they're wearing the mask as opposed to when it's off. That was never clarified. So I'm not sure exactly what it is this shit is really supposed to do.
Plus the laser beam just isn't powerful enough to go through the entire head. It just goes into the head and then melts it from the inside and transforms your brain into snakes and maggots.
I mean, I guess. I don't know. I just thought of that because like when I look back on it, it's like, you know, you had that scene, which again, another crazy kill, which is like unexpected, but you know, then you have the actual what's supposed to happen on that moment. It's like, okay, this doesn't add up here. And even at the end, like when they crash the place and you know he overloads all the little chips and it just creates one giant ass laser between the computers and Stonehead and it just turns Cochran into a fucking paper mache before he evaporates. Like, okay, I mean, if that's how this works, but yeah. Yeah.
What are you ranking it?
No. To be honest, if I'm putting it in like with the rest of the movies, it's probably like middle of the pack, to be honest with you. Like, because I like it, but if you're gonna measure it up to, you know, the good movies in the franchise and the movies that are shit, the best place I could put it is like in the middle, like between like at a top 10, like 6 probably.
I mean, like C+, B-, you know.
Oh,
thing we've been doing.
Honestly, grade wise, I'm gonna give it a B+.
B+.
Like, yeah, I won't quite give it an A, but like I said, I enjoy it more and more now.
You guys are so generous. I can't see giving Halloween 2 an AA-, and then if the benchmark, if in the grading curve, A+ is the original Halloween and everything is then fucking falling downhill from that, I can't see this being one letter grade below that. So for me, it's a C plus. It, like you said, it's
C plus.
dead in the middle, dead of the pack. It's a good, like, it's a fun movie to watch. It's not one I go back and watch every year. It's not a favorite of mine that I need to check out every year. It's very campy, very cheesy, very 80s. And that has its charm, but it definitely C plus, definitely average.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it's just like the more I watch it, the more I kind of like. I guess that's what it did for me. Like, because the first time I watched it, I was in the same way. I'd probably give it like a D the first time I watched it, because I had that lens. Like, okay, I know Michael Myers is in this, so I'm probably not going to enjoy it. But when you just look at it as an original story, it's like the more I see it, I kind of get into it. Like, I agree, it is campy and all this other stuff, but I don't know. I'm not that hard to please. So, part 4, Michael's back. Take it away.
Michael is still alive. He is in a healing coma, being kept alive by doctors because, again, we just ignore the fact that Sam Loomis insisted on the fact that Michael needs to die. Sam's also still alive, has a little bit of burn on his face, and in the time that Michael has been healing in this coma, Laurie had a kid, died in a car crash. Kid got adopted by the Carruthers, who I believe are somehow related to the Strodes in some way, shape, or form. Maybe family friends. Believe they knew Laurie in some way, shape, or form.
Laurie used to babysit Rachel.
Yes. So they have now taken in Laurie's child and are raising it. Their daughter, Rachel, wants to be a teenage girl. She wants to go out. She wants to get her fuck on. She wants to have fun with her friends. But instead, she's stuck with this child who has been through trauma. Michael wakes up while being transported from the hospital to the next holding facility, breaks out of an ambulance, kills them. Dr. Loomis finds out about it, goes fucking crazy again, hunts Michael, and he is headed right back to fucking Haddonfield, where everyone decides to be and stay and live for whatever goddamn reason, and comes after Jamie because it's his sister's daughter and it is his blood and he must kill his family. And then he goes through and murders all of the people related to them. I believe Rachel's dog, I guess it's Jamie's dog, dies. Rachel is assaulted. An entire police station is massacred. There is a mob that wants to hunt down Michael Myers, who was just shooting innocent people in the bushes who are drunk trying to take a piss, because angry mobs be angry mobbing. Shit is crazy. Finally, after Michael climbs into the back of a pickup truck that Rachel is driving with Jamie, they get him off of it. The mob shows up. They unload all the guns, all of them, into Michael. He falls backwards into like a mine shaft, because apparently we have those in Illinois and I didn't know that, but hey, cool. And he is dead. Jamie goes home. Everything's okay, but also forgot to mention, she decides to pick up the exact same costume that her uncle wore when he murdered his sister in the original movie, that little cute clown thing. As she is getting a bath, she attacks her adoptive mother, not stepmother.
Yeah,
I don't think
adopted.
that's how that works.
Yeah.
Attacks her adoptive mother. Loomis is in the house, has a fucking shit fit because it's happening again. It's happening again. No, and tries to shoot her. Should have fucking let him do it, but they didn't. They stop him. Roll credits.
Yes, very good, very good. Thrills. Let's hear them.
Jamie Lloyd, like, besides Laurie, like, this is she's adorable. She does fantastic in this role. Like, I mean, and then like later she gets in 2018, she gets like a role in that. So like that was cool. Obviously, it's a different character, but it's just so good seeing like a child actor be so good in a horror movie. So I really love 4. So seeing her in that, killing it, kind of killing her adoptive mother, but like then not really, whatever. Dr. Loomis again, because crazy Dr. Loomis. Why not? He's great. The police station basically getting annihilated. It's the kills again. Michael doesn't give a fuck. And I love that. And him getting gunned down at the end, even though he doesn't die. So dead. But just seeing everyone be like, yeah, fuck this guy, gun him down. So it's a good movie. Characters are okay for the most part.
Well, I guess okay is a good enough term for it. If you were going to bring him back, I guess this was as good a way as any to do it. They say that he's been in a coma for 10 plus years. I also gonna go with Danielle Harris as Jamie Lloyd. She was in Rob Zombie's movies in 2007. That's what you were going for, I think.
Oh, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
She played Annie in those movies. But yeah, I mean, this was also her first major roles as I recall. So yeah, that's to knock them out of the park right away so soon in your life. It's like that's wonderful. We got a much bigger body count out of Michael. That's always a plus for me. You know, you clear out a whole station full of cops, you're going somewhere. The music kind of take a nice little interesting turn. I kind of liked, you know, how they, you know, changed it up a little bit. What else? Oh, the sheriff. I can't give him enough, because when a man comes in and says that this town is in danger and you need to, you know, put a presence out here and let people know, that man got on it and said, you know what, let's roll, let's go take care of it, as opposed to Sheriff Brackett, who kept saying, oh, you're talking crazy and this is a quiet town, nothing ever happens here. No, all he had to do was say, hey, listen, the man blew up a whole gas station. He tried to kill Laurie Strode. You see the bodies back then. He's back. He's coming here. We need to, you know, save this little girl from getting killed. And he moved. Plain and simple. That's how you do it. The final scene, all the gunshots, stuff like that. I don't know how this man took that many guns before falling, because those were fully loaded shotties. So clearly Michael's made out of something. Apparently there's more to it that we find out later on, whatever. But the last thing, I think it was a very bold move to try to go in a completely different direction, because the writers for this movie wanted the finish to be about now Jamie being the killer going forward, or that person going forward, because once again it was going to be Michael's dead. Like, that was going to be it. And essentially that moment where she touched his hand was like a transfer of spirit or energy that now Jamie would have. And now that Michael, it was taken from him, basically, in that transfer, now he was vulnerable, and that's why they could shoot him and kill him. So that's very bold. Watching it back now, knowing that, it's like I got a deep appreciation for that. So that was trash. Really good. No, it's listen.
They did the right thing going forward.
It takes some guts. I know why you're saying that, but yeah. But go ahead.
First and foremost, Michael's back, baby. The kills in this are fucking fantastic. You've got the electrician who gets thrown into the power grid and fried, that knocks out power in the entire fucking town. You got the massacre. You got the big titty store clerk that Rachel's boyfriend's fucking because she turned him down for a date because she had to babysit, because he's a piece of shit. Fuck you, Grady. Grady got his. Rachel felt bad for him, but Grady still got his. But big titty t-shirt bitch also dies, which is Sheriff Meeker's daughter. So even though he did what Sheriff Brackett should have did, his daughter still died too. Like, you cannot stop Michael Myers. The idea that Loomis is correct, that Michael Myers is not a man, he is a force of nature that cannot be killed. This is not Jason Voorhees, who is being struck by lightning and revived from the ground as an undead zombie. This is someone that you have shot and blown up and set on fire and stabbed and done all of these things to. And all he does is take a nap until his body heals enough for him to get the fuck back up and kill more people. He cannot be stopped. I fucking love this movie. I love Danielle Harris. I love everything that they did here. I completely disagree with the whole transfer power thing. I think that was a terrible direction. I'm glad that it didn't solidify. Because while Jamie, as the next version of the Shape, may have been interesting going forward, may have been kind of cool, we don't know what it would have been. I have a great appreciation for not where this goes next, but the next two steps that it takes to get to arguably the best version of Michael up until recently. Neither here nor there. No, they did a lot of cool shit here. They gave us a reason as to why Jamie Lee Curtis didn't come back. They gave us a new protagonist. They even kind of flopped the roles a little bit. So Rachel was kind of the Laurie Strode, and Jamie was kind of Tommy, but now the focus is on Tommy, not Laurie. So they have that same dynamic of babysitter and babysat, and she's even bullied like Tommy was, and things like that, and picked on because her uncle's the boogeyman. Jamie's uncle's the boogeyman. Now, mind you, I don't know why the fuck you're letting your kids know that shit or telling them that, because kids are fucking awful. Fuck them kids. But you have that dynamic in this too, where it kind of mirrors that first movie, that relationship that Jamie had with Tommy, and now it's reversed. There's a lot of good here. There's a lot of good here.
Okay, so we have a guest.
Is it Justin?
It is Justin.
I mean, you can bring him on, let him come say hi, and we'll tell him what we're doing.
Yeah. All right.
Impromptu guest.
Yeah.
I mean, it is almost 2.
It's what he said.
That's very true. That's very true.
Hi, Justin. Welcome to the show. We decided that we were going to do the Halloween episode instead of the Super Show. So we're now talking about Halloween 4.
Yeah.
That is a big tongue.
Wait, are you guys doing the episode right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I thought you were talking, and I was just like listening.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he's going over a little bit about, you know, the movie that is.
I mean, how many more of these movies are we doing? I don't know how long this episode already is.
We're roughly at about an hour right now.
Yeah. So what I was gonna say, if runtime's pretty good, probably through 6, and then we can cut there and then go into the first retcon with H2O Resurrection, all that stuff from there.
We'll see where we're at after 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because
I was just asking.
I'll have quite the reason to want to leave after 6. I'm sure. I'm quite sure.
So Justin, do you want to hang out and talk Halloween with us, or would you just like to say hi to everyone?
Yo, what's up? So wait, is this not in the crowd?
No.
Oh, this is Havoc Hour.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yo, what's up? I'm in the Havoc Hour, baby.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, some bullshit. He got way more excited about being in the Havoc Hour.
Yeah.
Justin.
Oh, what's up?
Disrespected. I hate
It's
it.
been a while. You know, I think the last episode I was on was a Star Wars episode. Now we're talking Michael Myers. Let's go.
Sir. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So,
Well,
did you see
I
part
did the
4?
rundown of the show.
Yeah.
Have you seen Halloween Part 4?
Is that the one with Danielle Harris?
Yes.
The first one with Danielle Harris, yes.
That's the first one with Danielle Harris, right? That's
Yes.
okay. Yeah. Which is the one where she has PTSD? Is that the
That's
fifth
5.
one?
That's
Yes.
the next
Okay.
one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think I should be all right.
Well, tell us what you liked about part 4.
Oh, part 4. Well, okay. Part 4 was kind of crazy because it was kind of like copycat-ish,
There you go.
right? And so it was kind of different demeanor. The story starts out with a different character, but still kind of within the same realms. So I kind of like that aspect.
Okay.
Plus, I had a little crush on Daniel Harris too.
Understandable.
Yeah, hey, come on.
That's fair. That's fair. Katie, you did your likes, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because I go
first.
last, and I was the last one.
Got you. All right. So now we're gonna move to kills. I'm gonna just real quick over the format. So Mr. Ritter, since he is proficient in giving a brief synopsis on movies, he's gonna give like a quick overview of the movie. We're gonna go over the things we liked, which are our thrills, things we didn't like, which are our kills, and whatever you feeling on the fence about it. You don't like it, but you don't hate it either. Those are our stabs. That's how we're going. So, Katie, why don't you kick us off for the kills?
I mean, it's mainly those little fucking kids. Why? It's like, again, third time. Fuck them kids. The abuse and the bullying this poor little girl's gonna deal with. It's not her fucking fault that her uncle's the boogeyman. It's not her fault. She didn't choose this life. Don't you fucking bully her, little shitheads. Kids are assholes. Like, oh God, kids are assholes. This proves it. Fuck them kids. That's my main thing. That's the only thing I can think of. So I had to think of something. So go ahead.
You sound pretty hurt by this.
As someone who was bullied as a child, I took very much offense to this. Fuck them kids.
It's understandable.
I mean, it's a relatable thing in these horror movies, you know, like the bullying, the person that gets victimized by, you know, its peers, you know. But yeah, fuck them kids though.
Thank you.
That's
You
correct.
got any kills, Justin? Things you didn't like from this movie?
Well, I was gonna say that the kids, just because that seems to be the trope from even the first one, because you know bullying is in the first one, and then bullying is in this one. Nobody likes bullies at the end of the day, you know.
Yeah.
They're just trying to go get candy, you know what I'm saying? And then you get bullied by these motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
Time's already rough. There's a killer on the loose, and you're just trying to get some candy corn, you know?
Ugh, no, thank you.
Nobody likes candy corn.
Yeah, nobody likes candy corn. That's true.
Not a chance. So
What do you got for kills, Reek?
So right off the bat, the prelude to the Maggots, which were the bar guys in the red caps who think they fucking run the town, who ran around with shotguns, deciding that they were going to be the law of the night, and they killed an innocent kid, shot him to death in the bushes. Yeah. That's if you watch that movie in 2021, it looks very familiar. That's all I'm saying. Also, I don't like how big and campy Michael looks in this movie. Like I've never liked it. Whatever type of bodysuit they got him wearing, it looks like he's got fucking pillows and stuff in his suit. Like I've never liked that. I was always of the mindset that Michael right there in that picture, yeah, that's always been the perfect Michael to me. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So all this extra shit you're trying to do to make him look bigger and more imposing, I'm not with it. I've never been with it. And this isn't the worst mask, but I've never been a big fan of it either. Like, I understand it's not going to be the same thing. The original got pretty worn out in the first two movies, but it's way too like bland for me. Like that never hit.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's kind of pretty much it. And Grady's a piece of shit. Obviously,
Well,
he deserved everything he got.
So let's talk about that for a second. No, for me, Mask is number one. I can't fault George P. Wilbur for being built the way George P. Wilbur was built. Like not gonna hate on the guy for having that body type. Like that's kind of fucked up, but neither here nor there. um, Mask was trash. Title was perfect. It's the return of Michael Myers, and this is where Michael Myers returns. There's a scene though, speaking of masks, in the school where Michael is chasing Rachel and Jamie, and Dr. Loomis shows up, but there's a scene where he attacks them where like the hair is white.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Before he gets sprayed with the fire extinguisher. So I don't know if they shot that scene post fire extinguisher and then cut it in beforehand, but
they literally, and I watched this in the documentary, they literally they said that it was like really early in the morning, and they didn't have like the masks that they were using throughout the whole shoot. They brought this mask in there, and at the end of the shoot, I guess like they clearly could see that it was the wrong one, but they said that they could probably edit it out later on, but apparently nobody ever went back and did that, and they just decided, okay, well, it's going to stay in the movie. And that's what made me hate it so much, because it's like you're telling me
that's just lazy.
No one had a proper mask there, but also it's like at the end of it all, you don't go back to it. It's what a couple minutes of a scene. Like, just put the right mask on them. It's not that hard.
It's enough to notice.
Yeah, it's the second worst mask excuse in this franchise, and we will get to number one.
Yes,
but you
will.
know the weird edits is like a Halloween thing.
Oh yeah,
you know, like the cuts are bad in the first one. The cuts are bad in the second one. It's a little bit better, but then the third one, the fourth one, and then
there was literally nothing wrong with the first movie.
No, I mean, no. No, the first one movie is great, but remember, it is like low budget as low budget can be. You know, I'm not saying that like it was
perfect.
bad, but I'm just saying like the edits, the weird edits. That's like a Halloween thing. So I kind of like look for those.
Let me touch on Grady real quick, because my issue isn't Grady. Like, is Grady in some general sense a piece of shit?
Yes.
Sure. Okay, if that's how you want to look at it. Here's my take. My issue is Rachel, because she gave Grady an option. She said, you can come with me or you can go back to Little Miss Hot Pants. He made his choice, and I understand that choice. If I was given the option of going trick-or-treating or big titty store clerk who's ready to fuck, probably gonna go fuck. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not saying it's the right choice. I'm just saying I understand it. My issue is Rachel forgave him for straight up choosing the other chick, and then felt sympathy for him as he was being murdered. You don't forgive those kind of actions. And that is on Rachel. That is not on Grady. She made that choice. He made his choice. She made hers. She should have cut his ass off, left him, took off with Jamie, and not give a shit about him after that, because he clearly didn't care about her. They are both at fault, and I will not let you just pin the blame on Grady. She made a choice here too.
Well, technically speaking, what she said was, I will let you get back to Little Miss Hot Pants. She didn't give herself as an option. She said, I'm leaving. So he decided,
and he could have chased after her and tried to fix it, or he could go back. Like, he had an option. He made his choice.
And the whole, I wouldn't even say she forgave him. I think that's a response to the situation. Like, hey, technically that's her like boyfriend or whatever. Mm-hmm. As the day
not
started,
anymore, shouldn't be.
Well, yeah, like as the day started, it's like, you know, in a matter of hours, some shit changed. But it's like that's a response to the fact that, oh my God, he's actually getting killed right now. I would think that she wouldn't be so, you know, upset about what happened, that she wouldn't have a feeling of the fact that he's getting his fucking head crushed right now.
I have been married since 2017. I've been with my wife since about 2014. My wife knows very well that if I find out, come home, she's cheating on me, and then a killer breaks in, I am taking the baby and leaving her to her own demise. She understands that. She knows this. She made a choice. I've made a choice. Me and the child are leaving. Whatever Michael does to you, that's your business. You did what you did. She knows this. All right. and I love her with all of my heart. But if I come home and what was the line from Guilty Conscience? She tripped, fell, or landed on a dick. Yeah, if I come home and see that shit, yeah, no.
Oh my god.
I'm out. And if Michael's on his way in as I'm on my way out, I'll be like, she's upstairs and I'm dipping out the front door as he's coming in the back.
Oh my god. Wow.
For the Michael Myers, this is the look, right? For part 4? Is it
Yeah, that's part 4.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it me or does that look more like Mikael Myers? Right?
Oh.
And I didn't realize that like the eyes are so big on this mask.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
I've never been a fan of that.
And the eyebrows is like, what the hell? You know?
Oh my God.
Like it's almost like Michael Jackson after the whole.
Oh yeah. After his when he got burnt doing the Pepsi.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Look at that. I'm a smooth criminal.
Yeah. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It was not working for me at all.
Annie, are you okay? You okay? You okay, Annie?
Yeah. Yeah. That
Which is funny because he killed Annie in part
I was
1.
gonna say,
Neither here
Aaron
nor there.
died.
Yeah. Very true.
How great would that be if there was like a Halloween continuity where like part 4 Michael Myers slides in after Annie's murdered and just does like the whole smooth criminal.
Moonwalk.
Annie, are you okay?
Oh my god.
Moonwalks out of street.
You
Yes.
talking about the lean? He does the lean.
Yep. Mhm.
How no
Yes.
one has ever parodied that, I have no idea.
Oh, it's probably out there somewhere.
It has to be. It has to be.
Well, he wouldn't be killing them kids. Let's just say he wouldn't be killing them kids.
No.
Mhm.
Well, yeah. Learn something new every day. So Mrs. Ritter, please be faithful. Grades
She
for Halloween
understands.
4.
She knows the deal. You don't have to. She knows what's up.
She understands the assignment. She knows.
Yeah. So
Jesus Christ.
what are we grading Halloween 4?
I'm gonna go.
All right,
B.
so B.
Oh, I'm sorry. I jumped the gun there. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Oh, you're good.
It's no one specific. I was just gonna say, I grade on a curve. So again, Halloween, A+.
Mhm.
Halloween 2, A minus. Halloween 3, C+. For me, Halloween 4 is above Halloween 3. It's below the other. So I'm gonna give this a flat B.
Yeah. It did bring it back though. You know, when it came to like in terms of popularity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because 3 was such a drop off.
Oh, no. In the multiverse of Michael Myers, my personal favorite timeline is the Jamie Lloyd timeline. I love the most recent current iteration of Michael Myers where someone comes in and shoots John Carpenter before he can decide to make them related and just spawns a whole new franchise 40 years later. Enjoy the shit out of that. But sentimental favorite, storytelling wise, purposeful wise, this is my favorite continuity.
Yeah.
It's my original continuity. So there's probably that too. It's the first continuity I was introduced to. So yeah, no, B.
Okay. Katie, what you got?
I'll also give it a B. Oh,
See, I need you guys to like write down your grades and then look at the grades that you've used and then grade on your own curve. Like that's what I need because I've watched too many of these shows where y'all just willy-nilly throw grades around. Like you're a teacher who's not reading the papers and just deciding, do I like this kid? He gets a B. Do I like this kid? No, fuck that. He gets an F. Like that's not how this works. We grade on a curve around here. There's gotta be levels to this.
Well,
It's
no,
tough.
I agree. I'm actually gonna give it an A minus because like it's I think it's the last really good sequel before we started descending into madness. And yeah, then that's where we're going next. So yeah, they understood the assignment in this movie and they did it very well. So I'm giving it an A minus.
Justin?
Yeah,
Did
B.
you say B?
Yeah, B.
Okay.
That's one first.
All right. So let's descend into madness a little bit with part
Oh, God.
5.
The Revenge of Michael Myers. Part 5 kicks off. Michael has been shot. He is floating down a river. He is saved by a hermit who takes a year to nurse him to health. And then not only does he wake up, but he wakes up a psychic link between him and Jamie Lloyd, who has magically, after almost murdering her adoptive mother, lost her ability to speak and is in a psychiatric children's hospital where she is watched by Rachel, whose parents have just disappeared, and now Tina, who is Rachel's cousin or friend or something like that, who also loves them, and their German Shepherd Max. Dr. Loomis checks on her all the time, but he's a little creepy in this one, kind of forceful with the way he treats the children, not in a sexual way, but like a tell me what the fuck you know sort of way. Stop playing around. I don't have time for this. Michael wakes up, murders the hermit that nursed him back to health, and then once again descends upon Jamie and her family, killing along the way, killing Tina, killing Tina's boyfriend, who is also named Michael, which I know is Katie's favorite part. We get back to the Myers home where Dr. Loomis has decided to use Jamie as as bait for Michael for this weird improvised trap where they start at night, but somehow there is daylight coming through the house. It all fails. Michael ends up getting captured, is arrested, brought to a police department, and then a man in black cowboy boots and a black cowboy hat and a long black duster walks into the police station, kills all of the police, blows a hole in the building, and steals Jamie and Michael.
So let's kick these thrills off, if there are any. Katie, what you got? It's okay if you don't have any, because I don't know if I do.
It's a little hard. Can't think of one.
Really?
For the thrills?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the stuff we like.
Doesn't this one have? This has like the most kills, doesn't it?
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Well, honestly, I don't think it.
Not anymore.
The new one.
Okay, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
Oh, the new one has the more kills. So I know there was like something with a barrel gun. I'm trying to rethink. Like I know there's a scene where Michael Myers kicks like a door down, like a car door, and offsets a barrel gun. I can't, it's been a while. So, but yeah, the one thing I don't like. Okay, well, if we're doing thrills, yeah, okay, go ahead, skip me. Sorry.
You don't have any thrills?
You don't have anything you like?
I have a lot of things I dislike.
Me too.
But
I think we all do. Well,
oh,
three out of 4 have a lot of things we dislike at least.
Tina's fucking fantastic.
No, she's
I mean,
not.
I do.
No, she's not. Stop.
Tina
like
is
Tina.
great. No, I love Tina. Tina is fucking fantastic.
She is a.
I enjoyed the shit out of Tina. I love the kills in the barn, where they're kind of making fun of Michael Myers. Tina's friend's boyfriend is dressed up like them. They do that whole fun scene there. There's also the really cool sequence where Jamie is trying to escape Michael in the Myers house, and she's in like the vent and drops down. And there's some really fun shit that they do in this movie, scene wise and suspense wise, even if everything doesn't necessarily make sense in the end, that makes the movie still enjoyable to watch. Rachel dies. Tina, hurt, possibly dead because we never see her again. Jamie running through the forest is something that we're going to see later on, kind of parodied, which we both talked about as something we enjoyed seeing again. So you cannot discount that fact. there are good things about this movie. Like this is, I mean, Michael, I think killed 12 people in this movie. It's not his highest body count, but it's a pretty high body count. I mean, Rachel, Mike, Spitz, Samantha, the two deputies, Tina dies, and two more deputies, and then Dr. Hart and the nurse both dead. So we have kills from Michael. They are fun kills. Not all of them are on screen. It's fine for what it is. Is it the best movie? No. Is it one of the worst? Probably. So but I will give credit where credit is due. I enjoyed the shit out of Tina. I enjoyed the kills. I enjoyed the barn sequence and everything like that. I even enjoyed Michael taunting Michael, where he took the fucking claw and dug into his car and dude got all tough and then got fucked up. Like, I enjoyed that kill. So
I did forget about the whole Jamie in the vent thing. That like gave me severe anxiety. I got real nervous, but it was good. Again, I can't remember a lot of details about these movies because I've only watched them like once or twice, and it was like a month or two ago at this point. So
and she was in some real life peril because the way they shot that scene, like she had to be like mindful of an actual knife going through this thing. Yeah. I will give you the sight kill in the barn because this fucker picked up a sight. Like who does that? But yeah, that was good. Mike's kill with the rake, I was all for that. I'll even give you him putting on that Halloween mask and posing as Mike and driving. Okay, I will give you that stuff. That's fair because at least at that point I could say, like, you know what, that was entertaining. Thumbs up for that. And obviously, Jamie Lloyd, Danielle Harris, once again, she's the star at this point. There was no doubting about it. And, she was probably the best thing about this movie for me, personally. But that's about the extent of it that I got.
You got any thrills, Justin?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've seemed to accidentally lost myself on the screen here. However, as far as the thing that I dislike is the psychological link between Jamie and are we there yet? We're not there yet?
We're getting there.
I mean, if you don't have anything you like, you can do your dislikes.
Yeah, just go ahead.
Kills, your kills.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Kills.
I know you got distracted because you lost yourself on the screen somehow. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck you're touching over there. Like, I don't know why you had to mess with anything that you would disappear from the screen, but neither here nor there. Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to be like Benji, just be like off. You just hear my voice and be off camera.
Oh god.
No, as far as the kills go, I think you guys pretty much said it all. I mean, like all the kill scenes, the bar scene was pretty crazy. That part, the part where we're making fun of him. Plus, like, why would you make fun of Michael Myers of all people too?
He didn't know.
Like they're. Yeah, but the guy, the way the guy looks. I mean, you just don't say that to somebody that looks like that. I mean, walking around all pale, looking like Mikael Myers and shit. Like, you don't do that. But either way, yeah. Where are we at now?
Kills. What you didn't like.
The dislikes.
The dislikes. Yeah, the psychological thing between Jamie and Michael Myers, which I don't know if it was like some type of E.T. Elliott thing where they just felt connected or whatever, but it just wasn't as in depth as I thought it would be, Because I was like, okay, this is interesting. I mean, there's a connection here. There's something that can go. For the first time, you see Michael kind of vulnerable because of this link, kind of like Ben and Rey in Force Awakens. They got this link between each other. You know what I'm saying? And it's like for some reason, it's not the story between that is not reached at its full potential. But that's probably my dislike because it was like, all right, this could go somewhere else other than just the killing and the slashing,
It's gonna get explained later on. We'll get there.
Did you just say that Michael and Jamie are a dyad in the Force?
Oh my god.
Oh
Yes.
my god.
Isn't that I mean, that's kind of like what I got, now looking back on it now and now seeing Force Awakens and seeing like what they were trying to do. Maybe they just didn't have enough time to really explain it. But yeah, maybe they're a dyad.
No, I will never
Katie,
accept that.
What are your kills?
I will never accept that. Go ahead, Katie.
Choking, sorry. The fact that Jamie lost her fucking voice and she can't talk, and then she has to try and explain where Tina is, and she fucking can't. It's why? Just why? And then she miraculously gets it back. I don't understand. I hate it. See, I think Tina would be like a stab because I didn't like her and I didn't hate her. So we know you hate her. Relax. You get your turn in a second. And then the man in all black at the end, because no. But
Dr. Terrence Wynn, to be clear.
We know.
of course, we know. Yeah, fuck that. It was not a fan. Reek.
Does Matt have any kills?
Yeah, I do. So
because I'm probably gonna go all day. So you might as well get yours out the way.
The Mask. Obviously, it's one of the worst masks in the entire franchise in part 5. I understand it was like in water in a river, which is why it's kind of loose and stretched and so on and so forth, but it just looked like shit. The psychic link was trash. The whole big cookie woman thing like drove me fucking nuts. Say what you want about Danielle Harris. This was the acting for the majority of this movie, in my opinion, was terrible because of the fact that they didn't let her talk and she had to pretend to learn how to speak again or whatever they were implying with her mental health. Also, the interesting relationship with her first boyfriend, who was also not quite there, that Michael like ran down with a car, but maybe survived. Like that was a whole thing. They just let kids like take off and they knew how to go to a fucking farm to go find Tina. Like they're just two children walking around straight out of a children's mental facility and nobody's looking for them. Nobody has any concern. Like the cops are all out there looking for Tina. They're not out there looking for Jamie. Like, and then the ending sucked. I'm not gonna lie. Like Michael being arrested like a regular civilian and then put in a jail cell and not fighting back, just chilling, waiting for someone to come get him. I'm not down with that. That's not my Michael. My Michael's next movie.
Not my Michael.
Okay. I'm gonna start from the beginning. Michael Myers floating down a river, barely able to get to his fucking feet. Like at this point, you should be playing that music. That music when it's like this. It's like circus music or whatever. Like that's what you needed to play while Michael is like traversing his way through this river. Like that's stupid as shit. Obviously the alien Area 51 terrible looking mask, like it's second to worst of all time for me. Like if you lump them all together from H2O into one, this was second to last, because we'll get there. But yeah, that had to go.
Not tonight.
That's definitely up there. The clown cops, you don't do that shit ever.
I forgot about that.
It is probably the thing that takes me out of this movie the most. I mean, that noise. We get it that cops are just generally dumb in these movies for the most part, but this was way over the top. It didn't need to be like that. I feel like killing off Rachel so quick and just out of the blue. It's like, I get it. This is Michael getting back at everybody, but like Rachel at least could have had a little bit more runtime. Which brings me to my next one. I don't give two flying single fucks about Tina. We moved Rachel out, and we bring this chick in who was never seen before. She wasn't in 4. She just popped up out of the blue. She's one of Rachel's great friends, and we're supposed to care about her all of a sudden now because she's so bubbly, and so she's like the opposite of Rachel, basically. It's like her character, her personality is complete opposite. She's way more exciting and bubbly and all sort of shit. I don't care. There's nothing about that appeals to me. Like,
I date Tina.
I mean, not she's like, she's not like, I'm talking about as a viewer. Like, yeah, she's beautiful girl, but I don't give a fuck.
But also entertaining to be around, energetic, full of life. All of the reasons that as a character you should like her and care and not want to see her die.
No, doesn't work like that. Because I just got introduced. It's like she basically becomes like right next to Jamie as one of like the central figures throughout the movie. I don't have any reason to invest in it. I don't. It's like she got annoying at points in this movie, and that just was never going to do it for me. I'm sorry. It just no. The Man in Black, because at times it felt like he was overshadowing Michael, because it's like, who are you? Why are you walking about town? Why do you have this menacing feel about you? Why are you in Michael's house? And what is this tattoo on your wrist? Like, obviously we're going to have that explained, but like, it was just so random, and I never liked it. And him just showing up and blasting away the whole police station, like, okay, random, but whatever. It's already a movie on my shit list, so I'm not even gonna compound that. What else do I have? The House.
Is this the mask?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Doesn't it look like Jay Switchblade? It looks like Jay Switchblade, doesn't it?
Oh my god.
Doesn't it?
It also kind of looks like Pac.
Oh, yeah.
That's even worse. That is even worse.
Why is it so skinny?
I have no idea.
Right?
I have no idea.
Jawline is so skinny.
So
My gosh.
so the director of Halloween 5 was this French guy named Dominique, and he was like so hands-on and so different from all the other directors that he had his own methods about the way he was filming this movie. It's part of the reason why this is so left. But yeah, the Myers house, that is not my Myers house. I don't know where y'all got that abstrosity that this some big ass castle looking house. Like, no,
Right.
no, that was another thing taking me out of it, because where the hell is he going?
It didn't even look like it belonged in that neighborhood too.
Yeah, did not work for me. Did not work for me. I liked 6's house better than this one. Don't start. And Loomis. I listen. How Loomis is the one who is losing his shit after all this. Like, I get it. You're chasing this guy down for so many years, and it's like you're trying to figure out, what the hell do I do to kill this guy? How are you? You're the main one who knows Michael better than anyone. How are you losing your shit? Like, you sit up here snapping on kids and stuff like that, and going postal and all sorts of stuff. You are supposed to be the one with some, you're supposed to be the one that's grounded. Like, you're supposed to be the one, helping them to figure this shit out and help them to kill him. Like, you up here you just going off the deep end. Like, bro, like, they can't do this shit without you. If you lost your shit, what are they gonna do? You know what I mean? Like,
I will not have you besmirch the good name of Dr. Samuel Loomis. Listen here, sir.
Listen.
When you have repeatedly shot a man, blown him up, watched him get massacred by a mob or the cops, the next town over's cops, the state police, whoever, and yet he's still back. And now your only way of finding where he is this little girl who can't tell you where the fuck he is. You're gonna lose your shit and get frustrated because all you want to do is put an end to this and kill him, and all these people keep stopping you, and every time you think you've done it, the motherfucker gets back up again. So now you basically have fucking GPS. You got Alexa here. Alexa, where's Michael? And Alexa's like, big cookie woman. No, it would annoy the shit out of me too. Big cookie woman. No, fuck that.
Stop saying it.
Write it down. Write down gas station. Write something down. Tell me where he is because people are going to die. And I'm tired of trying to kill this man and then more people dying. It would drive anyone insane.
I'm with you because I don't understand. At some point, she had to break out of it and just kind of just snap out of it, but she kept doing that cookie phrase. And I don't get, were they trying to get some like comedy trope out of this?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
Because it gets to a point and the guy's like, okay, he's going to search it. And he gets to the girl. It's like, big cookie. It's like, dude, come on. Enough.
And
enough.
And while I understand your justification, I'm still killing it. And my last two, obviously mute Jamie, which I don't know what reason you could possibly have for her being mute. Like, what did you get? Did y'all give her drugs? Did y'all do something to her? Like, that's never explained. I hated it. It never made any sense. There's nothing wrong with her physically. So why isn't she talking? And Billy, just because fuck that kid.
Whoa. He was mentally disabled. He was not all there. Like,
I don't care. He was an annoying little prick who just showed up everywhere that he was not invited to, and he did not do anything for me personally. I'm sorry.
So
no one asked you to be here, sir. No one. Like he was a nice kid, and it's not like I got nothing personal against him. I just don't care for him. Like, why are you here? Why are you here?
Because he had a crush on Jamie.
Fuck them kids.
I mean, I guess when you have a crush, you don't know how to act. You know what I'm saying? We all can relate. We can all relate. When you have that crush, you kind of stumble your words.
No, he had a thing. Like, he was like impaired in some way. That's where his stutter was coming from. But I saw way too much of him for my liking. He was just annoying.
That's so fucked up.
I don't care. I genuinely don't care. But yeah, that's that's all I got that I can think of right now on the fly. I'm sure if I thought about it, I could have more, but that's plenty.
Jesus Christ.
I have to go back and look at that.
I'm gonna give this a D. I'm not gonna go D minus. I'm gonna give it a D. Just because there's one movie below this for me that is going to get an F. So flat D. Like I said, out of this timeline, it's the worst movie. Out of the entire franchise, it's one of the worst movies. I forgot to kill the whole son coming through the window of the house at night because that whole thing bugged the shit out of me. It's not a good movie, but it does set up my favorite movie, which we are about to talk about. So I can't make it a complete and total fail. It does put things into motion that is going to create something amazing that we're about to talk about. So
well, I'm going to be generous and I'm going to give it a D minus for the same reason, because I also agree that there is something beneath this. So as much as I would love to give it a flat F, I just can't off of the general principle of that. So I got to give it a D minus.
Yeah, I'll go D minus.
You're going to give it D minus too?
Mm-hmm.
See, I got to give it an F, man. Too much shit that doesn't make sense. The telepathy, I understand it leads to something huge, but it's like you have to wait a whole, I forgot the timeline between 5 and 6. It's like 2 years.
No, it's like
way more.
Is it more than that?
6 came out in 90.
Yeah, because 6 was like a 90s movie. Yeah, so you have to wait like a whole 6 years almost, right?
Yeah.
See, that's too long. I want to know what the fuck was that, the guy at the end, breaking them out and shit,
Well,
so I have to give it an F. It takes too long for an explanation. Plus, I don't get.
Justin, when were you born?
84.
You were born in 84? Really?
Oh.
Wow, I didn't realize you were 3 years older than me.
Yeah.
But still, I don't think at 5 years old you were watching this movie, comprehending the complexities of it, and really excited for the next movie to come out and find out who the fucking Man in the Black was. So I'm not going to believe that bullshit. By the time you knew what the fuck was going on, which was about 10 or 11 when the next movie came out, it was already out and ready to go.
Well, that's when I would watch it. When I was like 11.
Yeah, exactly.
12.
So you didn't have to wait. You didn't have to wait 5 years.
Yeah, but hold on. Wait a minute. USA only showed up to 5 because 6 had just come out,
So you had to wait a year, which you would wait for any movie.
I had to wait 6 months. I had to wait 6 months.
Yeah.
So you're not making your case any better.
It was out at the video
Also-
store. You could go get the VHS. No,
But you know how like back in the day, Up All Night used to have those Halloween marathons, right?
yeah.
And like you're watching it, and you're watching 1 and 2. Oh, okay, dope. Like 3, you're like, I don't know what happened there, but it's moving into 4, and you're like 4, okay, this is kind of cool. And then 5 is like, whoa, what just happened here? And then you're just like, you're left with just shit. Like, what the? You go from like everybody being scared of this man, and then he gets arrested just like a regular criminal. You want to know what happened?
Why we killed it. So D and then D- everywhere else. Except for Justin. Justin was an F.
I'm only basing on my experience.
Yeah. So your real issue is that you had to wait 6 months to see what happened next. Not 6 years.
Some people
6
waited
months.
6 years. I had to wait 6 months to go to Blockbuster or Family Video or wherever the fuck I went to get the VHS and find out what happened.
Yeah. Those were good times. Going to the video store and getting those getting those movies, and then if there wasn't a video behind the cover, oh man, it was. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, these are real struggles. I understand.
Yeah.
All right, so to close out this portion of the franchise, I'm going to let Mr. Ritter expand upon his favorite of the franchise, The Curse of Michael Myers, also known as Part 6. Take it away.
And to be clear, Halloween the original is the best. I even have Halloween 2 above this in as far as movies go, as far as my ranking system, but it is a sentimental personal favorite because this is the most brutal Michael Myers we have seen to date, ladies and gentlemen. And also, I'm a child of the 90s. This is a very, very 90s film. So Jamie Lloyd resurfaces, has a child. Michael is with her, hunting her down, trying to get the baby, murders a nurse. Fucking awesome, by the way. Chases Jamie down. She drops the baby off at a train station, fools Michael. He follows her. He kills her. Again, super brutal way. Finds out the baby's not there. Paul motherfucking Ant-Man Rudd is Tommy Doyle, who is a insane person, conspiracy theorist, who is obsessed with Michael Myers. Here's Jamie call into a radio show talking about what's going on. Here's the train signal in the back, goes and finds and rescues the baby, brings it to his house, which is across the street from the original Myers house, because he is living at some boarding house. The Strode family was never able to sell the Myers house. So now Laurie's uncle, I suppose, because her father was the original Strode realtor, has moved his family into this house and told them nothing about what's happened, nothing about Michael Myers. And apparently they're all idiots and oblivious to the fact. I don't know where the fuck they came from, but they're living in this house. Michael returns home, kills that family. There's a little boy there who starts hearing the same things Michael heard when he was a child. We get backstory and a reason for Michael existing. We go back to the Celtic roots with the cult of the thorn, which is on my wrist right here. There is a sect of people in Smith's Grove Sanitarium who have basically worshipped a demon that has possessed Michael Myers and made him this unstoppable monster and been feeding him people and keeping him alive until he finishes his goal, which is to murder all of his living relatives as a sacrifice. And once that is done, the curse is then passed to this next little child, and he will become the new shape. Michael only has to kill a child, but he is thwarted by this boy's mother and Tommy Doyle because he's fucking Ant-Man. The kills in this movie are fucking amazing. At the end, Michael doesn't die. He is injected with sedative, gets up, walks away, leaves the mask behind. Dr. Loomis, who is also still here, who is now working with Tommy, who is also fantastic in this movie, goes back into the hospital to handle Michael. And the last we hear of him is the scream. This is also the last Halloween that we physically get Donald Pleasance in, because he died during the filming of this movie. And it was dedicated to the memory of Donald Pleasance. And if you can't appreciate it for that fact alone, there is something wrong with you. And this is not even to touch on the fact that there is an entire producer's cut where Michael fucks his niece, is the father of the child that he is trying to kill. And they really get into the meat of the Celtic rituals and the stones and the incest and what all of this has to do with the power that Michael has. But they take a lot of the great kills out. So whether you go see the producer's cut or the theatrical release, there is a lot here to love. The theatrical release ends with Dr. Sam Loomis becoming the new Dr. Wynn, the curse being passed to him getting the mark of the thorn, Michael trapping Wynn in these Celtic runes that he was trapped in by Tommy, and escaping dressed as Dr. Wynn. What did you guys love about this movie other than fucking everything?
See, I seen both versions, but I remember the director's cut the most. And then when I seen the other version, I was like, "Oh shit! There's a whole bunch of kills in this one." Since we're moving on to kills, I gotta say I'm trying to remember. There was a scene with the electric breaker.
Yep.
Right, where the dude, like, he was trying to fight off Michael and he just lifts him in the air, just like tosses him into the electric breaker, which I thought was pretty cool. Because, like, he didn't have to use a knife, he didn't have to kill him, he just used physical strength just to put a man into the electric breaker and just hold his ass there until he, like, literally fried chicken, and then just let him go. And it's like, okay, I'm off to the cold.
He also crushed a man's head against metal bars and basically squashed his head between metal bars with his physical brute strength, because this is the most badass version of Michael Myers we have seen to date at this point.
And in cruel irony, it was George P. Wilbur that he did that too.
Which you didn't like the way his body was shaped anyway, so I'm sure you were fine with that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the kill, but I mean, that certainly didn't sway me either.
What other thrills we got?
Katie?
I mean, Tommy Doyle, for sure. I love me some
Paul
young
Rudd.
Paul Rudd.
Yeah. This is
Love
the best version of TD? Best version of TD?
100%.
Yeah. Because the later one,
That's a different story. Yeah, Tommy's definitely the best part of this movie. I mean, Loomis is definitely a close second, but Tommy is the main focal point of this. Kills are fantastic. Mr. Strode, fuck him. He deserved to get killed. That was fantastic to see. That's all I have.
Okay.
Did you guys like this mask?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Outside of the
Okay,
original, this is probably the best mask in this series of movies outside of the original. Because 2 was way too tight and looked weird, like it was stretched across the actor's face. We've talked about how bad 4 and 5 were. So this is probably the best version of that mask. And I believe it's because they kind of used a cast of the original mask, but obviously it's a little more worn out.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah. I'd agree with that. Like that's probably my first thing. Like, you got the mask back to looking like the way it should. Tools was the same mask as 1. It had been so during the shoots in the first movie, Nick Castle, who played the OG Shape, would put the mask in his back pocket, so it kind of got worn from that. And then over the years after they finished filming the original, Deborah Hill had the original mask, and it was just like, I think it was sitting in her closet or her bed or under her bed, something like that. So it was just sitting there and gathering dust and withering. That's why it looked a little bit worn, and they dyed it and they got it to look, so it's the same mask, it just went through some shit. But yeah, 6, I would agree, is probably as closest to getting good with the original as possible. So I give it that. A great send off for Dr. Loomis and Donald Pleasance, his last film. We got got Dr. Loomis back to being a little more sane, so I can appreciate that too. Super brutality, Michael. You're not going to hear a word of disagreement from me. I mean, these kills were phenomenal. It was like that was one of the best, if not the best version to date. Well, that might change after recent events, but it's up there. I'm gonna give it to
I mean, to 1995, to that point.
Yeah.
Best version of Michael.
Yeah, no question.
Most brutal.
Yeah, without doubt. Gotta love timeless, ageless Paul Rudd. I mean, I the first time I saw him as Tommy Doyle, I was very confused. But I mean, you got me. You swayed me on it, because I mean, you're a little kid, you're dealing with trauma. I mean, what else are you to think? You believe in the boogeyman. Why would you not think that Michael Myers could still be alive, and that you spent years of your life trying to figure out the mystery of it? I like Barry Sims only for the fact that that character was obviously written for Howard Stern. If you just listen to that dialogue, he was filming his biopic at the time, so it was a scheduling conflict and we didn't see it. But I liked it. I thought it was pretty fucking funny. Like it
he wears crotchless panties and barks like a dog.
Yeah. That's some shit that Howard Stern would say. Like I was all for it. Like it worked for me. The everyone moving. So this was the first time someone in the timeline that someone had moved into the Myers house. We got a better looking Myers house than part 5, but now it has inhabitants. People moved in there, and of course it's the brother of Laurie's dad and their family and everything like that. So I like that we got a little bit of continuity there. So that was good. And the potential of Danny and going to the dark side, so to speak, that's as far as I'm going there. But the potential of Danny becoming another Michael, I was okay with that, but only that in terms of the shit that was going on there. And I'll even give you Mrs. Blankenship too, because that's a creepy old lady, and definitely there was something there to it. But again, it's as far as I'm going there, and in that side of things. I obviously I would have preferred to see Danielle Harris, reprise her role, but at the same time, I don't think I would have been too happy seeing Danielle Harris getting killed the way that Jamie Lloyd got killed. So shout out to JC for taking that bullet. I kind of like that they kept it open-ended for Michael, because as we found out later, the financier Mustafa Akkad literally has it written in paper that you can't kill Michael Myers no matter what you do in these movies. So what a smart way to do it. You didn't definitively see Michael die, so I mean, it's right out there, and regardless of which cut that you're looking at, there was no way it could have possibly happened anyway. So I can appreciate that too. So I'm not totally shitting on this movie as it might come off and appear, but I have a gripe, and we're gonna get to it.
And your gripe is going to be my biggest thrill, and the one thrill that I'm going to focus on, and that is the fact that we gave Michael a reason to be fucking Michael. You have a man who has been shot, who has been blown up, who has had his eyes shot out, who has been shot down a fucking river, who all of this trauma has happened to him, yet he keeps getting up. And we don't know why. All we know is Dr. Loomis has expressed that he is pure evil. Well, where does this evil come from? What happens? So on and so forth. To keep with the continuity of the Halloween franchise and what John Carpenter himself has already established in 2 movies is the Celtic Samhain roots and the Mark of the Thorn and the Cult of the Thorn and its Celtic origins, which is basically saying that Michael Myers is a dark god who cannot be killed, who can only be satiated by murdering his entire family. And if you have an issue with the idea that Michael Myers is basically a dark god, I don't know what to fucking tell you, because I think that is absolutely fantastic. And it is a great explanation for why his physical form needs to go into a healing coma, but the evil is still there, and the evil itself cannot be extinguished or destroyed. They even gave you a cool symbol that you can tattoo on yourself. They did a lot of cool shit here. And I love that they gave Michael a reason for existing. A lot of people don't. And I'm fine with that. I understand it. I don't agree with any of you. I want to know why my guys are my guys. I want to know why Jason can come back to life. Not just that he keeps doing it. I would like a reason for it. I loved that we learned how Freddy became fucking Freddy Krueger in a movie. And that we'll talk about that on a different fucking show. Give me reasons for how these evil characters became fucking evil and where the evil comes from. Give me backstory. Give me context. Give me that. And this movie fucking did it.
Well, I got you. I fucking got you now. Y'all go get your kills. Go get your kills. I got you, motherfucker. Go ahead.
Well, I actually have to agree. Before you get on your little thing, I actually agree. Like, I like that they gave us a backstory of why, Michael is Michael, and I same thing with why is Freddy, why is Chucky, all of them, because at some point this all has to make sense.
Mythos.
So I like the Cult of Thorn. And because the director's cut's the first one I saw, so I'm down with it. The raping thing. I mean, I understand, she's fine, but
she was also 16, so like there's a whole thing there.
I'm just curious, did he use the skinny Michael mask, or did he went with the more rougher cut?
Well,
depending on
I don't think he was for a mask, because clearly he wasn't using rubber the entire time.
Yeah, there's that too.
It's terrible. I can't.
Cookie book. Okay, anyway.
I fucking hate all of it.
Oh, last thrill, because we didn't really talk about it. The fantastic slaughter with the doctors, where he picks up that fucking machete and he goes in there and just massacres all of those doctors in that operating room, where they're like, oh, you can take the cloak off now. Halloween's over. We did it. Everything's cool. And then he just goes in and just murks He murks everybody in this fucking movie. Brutally. I love it. I fucking love it.
I agree.
100.
Okay.
Go ahead,
you
Reed.
got anything? Well,
I mean, it's the whole incest rape thing. No.
Technically isn't continuity in the theatrical version, so.
But I've seen both, so I have it in my head. It's fucked. That's fucked.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't have a huge issue with the Mark of Thorn or anything like that. I don't have. It's like, again, backstories are needed a lot of the time for these types of movies. I have no issue with it because it makes sense as to why Michael's Michael. I'm gonna leave that as that'll be a stab, is all of that, because I'm indifferent about it. It makes sense, but like, it's not my favorite thing.
I guess you could say maybe not stab, but maybe it's a rose, because every thorn has its rose.
Okay, go ahead.
Every rose has
every rose has its thorn.
Well,
yeah.
Justin, do you have any more? Yeah,
I was trying, but go ahead.
You got anything else?
No, we.
Katie?
Mhm.
Okay. So real quick, before I get to that, Dr. Wynn being the leader of this cult thing, when you were just MIA for technically 3 movies straight, and we saw you for like 30 seconds in the original, get your ass out of here.
He was also in part 4.
Was he?
Loomis got called back to the sanitarium in part 4 and talked to Dr. Wynn briefly.
When was that?
When he found out that the fucking ambulance crashed and Michael escaped. When he found out that they were transferring him.
No, that was Dr. Hoffman. He was at a different hospital. I just watched it like 2 days ago, so I know that. That was Dr. Hoffman. But yeah, the incest thing, it's no, I can't. I can't picture the idea of Michael procreating or even having sex whatsoever. What else did I have? Like there was one other thing. No, that's it. Okay, here we go. Mr. Ritter, is it not your belief that Michael reigns supreme as king of slashers?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, so that is exactly why I'm shutting down this whole bullshit about it being a reason for Michael having his invulnerability, his invincibility. Every one of the top slashers across the franchises, they all have something essentially controlling them. Jason's controlled by his mother. Leatherface is controlled by his crazy cannibal family. Freddy's controlled by the demons. Michael was always the top for me, at the top of the list, because he had no reason. John Carpenter's original, portrayal of Michael Myers, we all know it was the shape. There was no reason. There was no, there was nothing about it. He was a force. He was not a human being. He didn't have any, bonus, he didn't have anything to him. There was no enhancement to his character. There was nothing that made him him. He just existed in a vacuum. That's why he could literally be downstairs in the house at one point and then appear upstairs. Like when Laurie found Annie and everyone in the house, Michael just appeared out of the darkness. It just like, and in part 2, the same thing. He appears out of the darkness, out of nowhere. That's how it is. He just moves, glides across screens and settings and stuff like that because he's not human. And Loomis goes into that detail too. It's like, we're not dealing with a man. He says it in the original movie. He's like, this isn't a man, because you find a dog that's, dead and still warm. So clearly he's been gnawed on or some shit like that. It's not a man. It's not a human being. There is no element to him that can be enhanced or, tampered with to make him something more than he is. He is just a being. It's something, that an entity that exists, and that makes him, what he is. You can't kill him. You can't stifle him. You can't do anything to him because there is nothing there's nothing to kill. He appears and he disappears. And I think the best interpretation of that is the ending of the first movie. He gets shot 6 times, he disappears, and the movie fades out with you hearing his breathing, telling you that can be anywhere. And that's why people got so scared when they left the theaters, because it's like, you could have a Michael Myers in your town and you would have no idea about it. And there's nothing you can do about it either. Because again, he exists. He can pop up wherever. And no matter what you do to him, he will get right back up and come after you again. He reigns supreme because he was never inhabited by anything. And the Curse of Thorn just gave him just put him right in line with the other slashers as something else that was controlling, because they're the reason why Michael has his power. They're the reason why he can't be killed. They're the ones who are, keeping him on his path and keeping him, keeping him safe, essentially. And, Dr. Wynn is trying to nurture him up until he finds his successor. Like, that's another thing that has some level of control over him. I always preferred it when there was none of that. No restraints, no reasoning, none of that.
Okay, you ready?
I'll never forget that.
You ready for my counter argument?
I'm all ears.
Everything you said works for one movie. And the proof of that is when John Carpenter had to write a part 2, he had to come up with a reason for Michael to keep killing people. And he wrote in Jamie as his sister. It works for one movie. It doesn't work for a franchise. We're 5 movies in. People want to know why Michael can't be killed, why Michael keeps moving, how he doesn't die, all of these things. And you have to give the people what they want. They want a reason, they want to know. The curse of the thorn. Listen, first and foremost, we can both agree that Michael Myers was born from a vagina, because he was a 6-year-old child who had parents, which makes him flesh and blood in the original continuity. So he is a conduit for an evil that is still flesh and blood. He is not a magical, mystical, ghost, dark force. He is flesh and blood conduit for a dark force. Where did that dark force come from? This movie tells you. Whether you like it or not, that is the purpose of this movie. That is what it did, because there have been 5 fucking movies where no one explained how this guy keeps getting up, and at some point you have to do it. And we, again, saw that with John Carpenter in part 2, where it's like, well, why does he keep chasing Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie Strode? Because they're brother and sister, and he killed his sister in the first movie. You have to explain things, Reek. If he could just keep making Mike walk around killing people, he would have just had Mike keep walking around and killing people. You need to tell a fucking story. You need to give us more than that. That's what this movie did. The cult does not control Michael. The cult assists Michael, if need be, to keep him from being sedated so that he isn't locked away forever so he can complete his task. He is still an all-powerful dark force possessing the body of a child. And when that child completes the task, it moves to another child that is chosen, not by the cult, but by the entity. Michael was picked by the entity. The child in part 6, the new Michael possibility, was picked by the entity. It chooses, not the cult. The cult is there as supporters, as worshipers, to do its bidding and help it along its path, not to control it or guide it or do anything like that. So that is where I take issue with everything you just said. Is yes, he is flesh and blood. He was born from a vagina. He existed. No, he is not controlled by anything or anyone else. He is a demonic force inside a flesh and blood body that is driven to a task that he is trying to complete. That is not a controlling factor. That is a primal urge, need, want to murder everything in its path to complete a given task. And again, you have to eventually explain it.
Okay. So the cult, I'll clarify. The cult is not controlling him. The curse is controlling him, because according to the curse, you have to make a blood sacrifice of your family to basically to save humanity. That's when I really delved into this. That's what the curse essentially says. To save humanity, the child is chosen from his tribe, and he has to make a blood sacrifice of his entire family to save humanity.
No, the curse is the power that he has. The curse is what's driving the curse inhabits the body. It possesses the body. It is essentially the dark god that is driving him to complete this task. Like, the curse is the power that he has that he needs to use to complete the task. Again, the body, it's the shape. Michael Myers is the physical manifestation of it, but the shape, the darkness that Dr. Loomis sees inside him, that is the curse. That is what keeps the body alive, drives it to complete the task.
Not my Michael.
Well, okay, hold on. The way
It was a valiant effort, though. It really was.
The way I you guys make some great points, but the way I took it as, Okay, so Matt, you said he's like a dark god, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I kind of took it as he's like a soldier, and the curse is kind of like shielding him from basically death. So, and he's just carrying out like these missions. Like those are his missions, just to like, murder and do whatever, do what he wants. And the curse is this there to kind of like protect him. No,
Basically,
I mean that's the way I kind of took it.
that's yeah. Yeah, in a nutshell, you can pretty much call.
I mean, it's kind of the same thing, just a lower ranking position as soldier, and not not a god, but kind of the same.
Yeah,
Well.
Left up to interpretation, like most horror movies.
Yeah.
But I 6 is probably really good, really, really, really good.
I will never deny it. It's a good movie. It is,
and so gory too. I don't know if it's as gory as Kills, but it's definitely up there.
Kills has a new title or new crown.
Yeah, I mean, just the when he uses the light fixture, and he just he easily stabs the woman, like not even, you know what I'm saying?
That's part 2.
Butter, huh?
That's part 2.
Yeah,
that's when we come back and finish the series.
Yeah. We
will. I thought you guys didn't talk about it last week.
We did, but we're redoing the entire franchise.
Yeah.
So we're gonna come back and do H2O through Halloween Kills.
Oh, okay, all right.
As a part 2.
Got you.
Yeah. So what grades are we giving Curse?
B+.
What?
Yeah, because I said I grade on a curve. So if the original Halloween, the standard bearer, the creation is an A+, and then for me, the next level down is Halloween 2. It is the direct sequel. It was a great fucking movie, and that is an A or an A-. There is another movie that we haven't talked about yet that is on that rank 2 to 3 AA-. This sits at a B+ for me. Again, it tells the story, it gives a backstory, it does a lot of great things that I absolutely love, but it's not the original. I'm not putting it even above 2 or 2018, spoiler alert, which we'll talk about, which I absolutely loved for what they did in that version of the timeline. And it was hindered by 4 and 5 as well. Building to this drags it down a little bit because 5 was so bad and it was the lead into this movie. So B+.
Okay. I was gonna go A.
Okay. I'm happy with that.
Yeah. Despite my objections, I will give it a B+, because again, it is a good movie. Much as I will never submit to this bullshit. It didn't take me out of the movie. I got to complain about it, but it's like, the movie is, what it's supposed to be. You still get Michael at his most brutal. You still get a story being told, and like I said, it's left open-ended. You still can't kill him, and we go from there. It is what it is.
I'm giving it a B- now that I can finally talk. I don't have to give you a reason. You can just accept it.
I mean, I'm not the one looking for a reason.
I know.
I mean, you don't have to give us a reason, but it's kind of the whole reason we're doing the podcast.
I've barely given a reason for any other ones. I honestly don't know. I mean, 1, 2, 4. This one, like 5's garbage. We've already discussed. So I don't know. It just seems like a good grade to give it. I don't know. I can't give an actual reason. B-.
Fair enough. Like I said, you guys just willy-nilly throw grades out there. I understand.
Yeah, I do. Deal with it.
I think I'm gonna write mine down just so I know for the next one. So that completes the original timeline as we have come to know it. We have a couple more we got to get to, but 1 through 6. That's the original. And come back for part 2. We will come back and we will go through the first retcon, which was Halloween H2O, all the way on through Resurrection. If you guys want to touch on the zombie verse, we can touch on that briefly.
We'll see where we're at time wise.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
we did 6 movies here, and I think the back half is about 6 movies, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but we can abbreviate the zombie verse as much as possible if we want to.
Yeah,
and of course the newest movies that just came out. And if you guys have already seen Halloween Kills, we did a review on it, as well as Candyman. That's on the previous episode, so make sure you go check that out. Before we get out of here, all my lovely people here, as always, you guys plug your socials, tell us where to find you, and all the lovely stuff that you guys do on your respective platforms.
ladies first.
Katie, you know how this goes every time.
I don't know why I always don't say anything. You can follow me on Twitter at KatieRasslin13. There's a link tree in my bio. It takes you everything She Lead Showcase. twitch.tv/She Lead Showcase, YouTube, Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, the Instagram. I should probably start posting on that more. The most recent episode of She Lead has Matt and Justin. The most recent episode of Inside the Mind of features Justin, which is the most viewed out of the 3 of you. So Justin, you can gloat about that.
I watched it today.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, good. Yeah, so I take a lot of pride in Inside the Mind of. Just filmed the one with Jizzy today. That's gonna go up at the end of next month. Matt helped me secure Warren Hayes. So
What?
very excited about that. So I don't know when the fuck that's gonna happen, but it's gonna happen. I promise. So thank you, Matt. But that's it. That's all I got.
Go ahead, Justin.
Well, you can find me on the Get Your Podcast on the Twitter, Get Your Podcast on Instagram. When we have an episode, I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. But there are a bunch of amazing episodes that you can find on all the podcast platforms. Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I love doing this.
And as you know, you can find me on Twitter at Matt Ridders at MATTRIDDER. Also, Twitter and Instagram, Smacking a Raw Pod. Vince runs the Instagram. I run the Twitter. Please go get those numbers up. Creation World is the banner under which the Smacking a Raw podcast exists. So please go check them out at facebook.com/Creation World, creationworld.com, Twitter and Instagram at the Creation World, THECREATIA World. We also have Facebook for our group, which is facebook.com/group/Smacking it Raw. Please check us out there. Just dropped an episode with Mr. Warren Hayes, and Katie was my co-host because Vince didn't show up as per usual. He can't make it a month. Also, go check out that episode of She Lead Showcase because me, Justin, and Katie had a fucking blast. And everything that Reek and I have done with horror movies for your October, whether it's Friday the 13th, the original Halloween review, before Katie saw the movies. Yes, Katie was there too. The reviews of Halloween Kills and Candyman, all great content. And if you're a Star Wars fan, go check that shit out too, because everyone that you see here and TC, Reek's co-host over at Young Kings Wrestling, was there as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All fun times. You guys can find me at Reek Havoc on Instagram and on Twitter. At Reek Havoc 24, I'm sorry. Instagram and Twitter. You can go check out the Havoc Hour, the Instagram page, _the Havoc Hour _. You can find the show on all streaming platforms such as Anchor, Spotify, Google Play, iTunes. You can find the YouTube, which is much more enjoyable, under the Havoc Hour. As Matt said before, plenty of content with everyone you see here, talking movies, talking sports, the whole shebang. So I want to thank my Super Show panel, as we affectionately call them here, for joining me. Thank you for listening. If you've made it this far, make sure you go check out all the rest of the content there. So for my Super Show panel, this has been your host, Reek Havoc. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you guys soon.